So, welcome to my movie review of Missing, the movie of the week. It's February 10th, 2023, and this is gonna be a recap mostly. I just finished watching it, and I've been thinking of whether to make full reviews or recaps, and so let me just. I'll do a quick recap and I'll attempt a review of sorts. The reason why I don't necessarily want to do a review is because I haven't researched the movie a ton, and I like to be a person who likes to give background around the movie. So I'll maybe go into that a little bit. The movie is a sequel to a 2018 movie, or a standalone sequel to a 2018 movie called Searching, with John Cho, I believe, was the actor. I haven't seen the original movie, right? The non-standalone sequel, I guess. But it seems that the plot has a lot of the similar elements. So basically, what it is, it's a true crime kind of movie, kind of making fun of. I don't know. Is it making fun of true crime? Maybe. I've watched some amount of true crime here and there, not a ton. I'm not a junkie or even a casual fan. I watch it whenever it's on, and I don't get super into it like some people. But I'll say this much, that the movie was compelling in some ways. Now, I have one thing I didn't like about it, but I'll go into that later. I'll say that the movie was compelling in the way that it's familiar, in that it's something that anyone who has done an extensive amount of searching on the internet, which a lot of internet sleuths do, and a lot of the Netflix dramas are styled in this manner to demonstrate how just the average Joe these days, with the tools of the internet, can find names and people and places, and can find all sorts of information. And I think in this way, the movie, this is how the plot progresses forward, right? So just I'll recap the plot a bit. So the plot centers around a daughter. It starts off with a scene from the childhood of a girl whose father is apparently. By the way, there's spoilers in this movie. There's spoilers in this review/recap. So if you're watching and you don't want this to be spoiled, you should stop watching this video and go watch the Missing movie, and then maybe watch this video after. So so basically, this father, he seems like this is footage from 2008. He had his currently 18-year-old daughter in view while he was at a new house at a house currently filming with the mother, and the daughter, they seem in a playfully banter situation with the father, and the father's blood streaming down his nose, and all of a sudden it seems that they cut to a scene showing that cancer records. So apparently, what we're supposed to infer from that is that's probably the first time that the father realized he had cancer. And so the video was just cut, apparently by them. We don't know by who. It seems like it's by the daughter. She's the first. She's the first person we actually see, right? After a few shots of manipulating the computer screen, and we go to the scene of basically the daughter's trying to be rebellious against her mother. She doesn't actually like her mother very much, or seems pretty annoyed by her, in a very non-appreciative sense, and because the mother's always concerned about, because the father died, leaving her alone, she wouldn't know what to do if something happened to the daughter, so she becomes extremely overprotective, which bothers the daughter to no end, and she's trying to sneak alcohol into a party, and again, the friend is trying to get alcohol in there, etc. So they're trying to have a party in the weekend while the mom apparently goes away with her new boyfriend, who tries to talk to the daughter a bit, doesn't get a chance to before the mom comes in and kind of hurries them along onto their vacation. So essentially, what happens is the mother goes on vacation, and the daughter has her party. The party intersects with Father's Day, where she seems to be missing her father extraordinarily, and which is unsurprising. And yeah, so you know, she wakes up late. She's supposed to pick her mother and the boyfriend up to the airport, and then she gets to the airport, and all of a sudden, like, the entire day goes by, and the mother doesn't appear. And so that's where the movie essentially starts. So to sum it up, it's basically a search for the missing mother. Like, she goes through a series of internet manipulations. Like, she calls a bunch of numbers. She tries to get security footage from the hotel. She essentially she tries to find her mother, and she tries to call TaskRabbit to hire a guy to help go find security footage of her mother and her boyfriend leaving the hotel. Things get a little strange because she somehow hacks into her boyfriend's Gmail. I wouldn't call it hacking, but she breaks into her the boyfriend's name Kevin. She breaks into Kevin's Gmail, and she finds that he's been texting apparently with somebody else, and maybe potentially been cheating on the mother, at least from the exchanges. And so it gets weird because, like, as the movie progresses, there's a lot of strange twists and turns. Like, the movie looks like a cut and dry case as you watch it, and then it progressively gets weirder and weirder because you see that things are definitely not what they seem like most of the time in the movie. Like, you find out that actually the mother and the boyfriend, after essentially looking through camera footage, trying to track the whereabouts of the boyfriend and mother in Colombia, and essentially finding out that, like, it seems that the boyfriend and the mother were captured, right, and taken hostage by some random people, which she's working with an agent from the FBI to find out, like, what the heck is going on, why who kidnapped the mother and the boyfriend. And then through a series of events, it's like a series of, like, calling people in other countries, right? Jimmy the church guy, as she calls him, and just trying to, like, track the mother. Things get progressively darker too, like, as she finds out that the mother's, the mother didn't actually go on this trip, and she was exchanged somewhere between the air. She wasn't kidnapped. It was an actor, a body double that was kidnapped and was apparently tricked into going along with this guy. And this body double was this body double was the one who was in Colombia, and the mother never made it there. And essentially what happens is that it's determined or found out that the mother, she's missing, right? And the body double, like, is I don't know, coy or whatever. And, like, you find out that, like, there's a lot of detail as to how things are found out, but the trail seems to start to end up cold until what they find. She finds a connection between the mother's friend Heather, who is her attorney. I'll get to her in a second. She was basically her sort of babysitter through the movie, the daughter's babysitter through the movie. She tries to follow her to her office. She thinks she's involved somehow in the disappearance of the mother. She gets to her office, finds the door open, goes inside. She has a watch that she's recording the entire event just to catch her potentially hiding information about her mother's whereabouts. Then she finds that the attorney has been murdered. She's been shot in the head with her body just lying there. And at that point, it gets darker and darker and darker. Like, I guess the boyfriend eventually gets killed by police. What appears to be, he gives hints that he doesn't want to go to prison anymore. Whoever's talking to him, like there's somebody communicating with him that indicates that it doesn't matter. Like he's on his own, and essentially he goes like he doesn't want to go to prison anymore. So he's like essentially probably pulls a gun. You don't see all the footage, but essentially you see him pulling a gun on. It's implied that he pulled a gun on the police, and the police shot him. So he died, and the trail for the mother's still missing. And eventually you find like through another series of like internet fumblings and finaglings that could seem brilliant or just something that a very true crime-oriented person might do. You find out that there's been a secret account that the now dead boyfriend has been communicating with somebody over, and eventually you find out that the secret account leads to a person who has been essentially has purchased camera hardware for a house, and you find out that what happens, she gets a call from Jimmy the church guy, who apparently is at her door, who was supposed to have been in Colombia and supposedly have been a buddy who was lying to her and was saying that he was the Kevin's buddy to help him get through his like criminal tendencies, and it seemed real, but it actually, the whole thing was staged, and he was actually his cellmate in the same prison that they went to. But Jimmy the church guy actually turns out to be the father who was supposedly dead, and then you find out that the father is actually the father was behind the kidnapping all along. The father was actually not he did not die of any kind of brain tumor in melanoma. He was actually, that was an entire fabrication made up by the mother, who tried to put the daughter and herself in witness protection because the father was a violent drug addict. And you see like the entirety of the video from the beginning that was clipped for the daughter to hide the bleeding part, and the viewer only got part of that in the beginning. Like the viewer only got the part with the bleeding, and removed. It was clipped out of the video only for the daughter to see and remind her of her father. But the more of the video was actually cut out of him being violent and like talking about like how like essentially like drugs have been found, and him threatening the mother, breaking the camera and just indicating hints of his violence. And so basically you see all this information about court orders and stuff like that. And so the father wants to take the daughter back from the mother, who has actually had him locked up in prison for 12 years, and he apparently had made a plan with the with the now dead boyfriend of the mother, Kevin, to go to do this, right? So this was kind of effed up. But yeah, okay. So essentially what happens is that you find that the mother has been locked in a tool shed, and the father has been planning to escape, and he goes out, and so eventually what happens is the daughter, the father, I guess, I forgot exactly all the details, but the mother escapes, essentially finds the daughter, they reunite, and she tries to like hide from the father, but the father breaks into the location that they were hiding, and essentially he threatens the mother, then he shoots the mother, and she falls to the ground, and the mother is at this point like, you know, you think she might be dead or whatnot, and he's basically trying to, you know, or get a hold of the daughter again. And so what happens is he looks around, and like he turns, and the mother is actually still alive. It's like, I guess with her last strike, she stabs him in the neck with a shard of glass from a mirror that was broken by the gunshot of her being shot by the father, and essentially the daughter, the father tries to go to a computer and I guess find a number for the hospital, but I guess he's wounded too bad, so he basically bleeds, and it's presumed that at that point he's dead. The way that was shot was very interesting because it showed him trying to type number for the hospital, and he didn't get through the entire message, and then it shows him like the space bar just keep progressing forward as it's implied that he fell on the heap unconscious or dead. And so, the daughter pleads with the mother that she will be a good daughter from now on, not make fun of her for using Siri anymore, and and that she's going to try to find, she's going to be a better daughter, etc. And then in a last minute message, she reminds she's reminded that she can talk to the phone that's inside the father's or inside the house where the father lays near, and she basically tells Siri to call 911. The police come in, and you see that there's actually this. It fades out to a 911 Netflix-ish documentary about the case, right? And basically, you see it's a happy ending. And one thing I didn't mention is that one integral part of the movie was the TaskRabbit guy, who was the entire movie that she called was like really low-rated guy, but helping her helping the daughter as a hand in Colombia go from place to place and find out clues about what happened to the mother and the boyfriend. So and then they all, I guess, live happily ever after that, and right, the mother's still alive, the daughter's alive, the father's probably dead, and whatever, it's all good. So and after that little synopsis or long synopsis, I would say my review is that it was very fast paced in that sense, and I do like it, not only fast paced, but it was creatively paced. There was points where she was generally confused on what to type on the internet. There was points where the mother was like, okay, now I'm not sure what to do at this point. I'm sorry, the daughter was not, I'm not sure what to do at this point at some point, and then you'd see a tiny piece of information somewhere that really pointed out. That's a hallmark of these true crime internet sleuthing kind of things. They always zoom in on a piece of information that might seem innocuous, but then actually provides the next link to the next large set of breakthroughs. So that's kind of what was happening. A number that didn't seem like anything, or a message that didn't seem like anything, could lead to an account being broken into, a number being called, and that would lead to a whole new angle in the case, and it would prevent the case from going cold. And so I like that aspect of it. I didn't like the whole father trying to hide the daughter from the mother, abusive husband aspect, and the reason why is because it's not that happens, but it's also they could have been a little creative with that. It could have been more egalitarian in how they treated the father. I mean, the father, yes, and the situations happen. Mothers do that too. Mothers kidnap kids too as well. I mean, you could have had both situations, and I don't think it would have seemed so stereotypical of a plot line, or at least a conclusionary plot line. But overall, the execution I thought was pretty good. The reviews are justified. I would watch it again, especially if you're into internet sleuthing kind of shows. And if you want to watch Searching, if you haven't seen that, I guess I'm going to watch Searching. Standalone sequel, which is a term I learned tonight, is a sequel in the same universe but has nothing to do with the characters. Has nothing to do with the characters from the first movie, right? So I'm going to watch Searching. I'm going to know that it's in the same universe. Whether the universe actually matters or not, that's another question, because the universe seems almost directly parallel with real life. So I don't know. I don't know if there's references or Easter eggs to the first movie. I might check that out as well. Okay, so that's my movie review for February 10, 2023. I'll give it maybe a 4 out of 5 stars. Pretty high, I think. Missing. Okay, we'll see you around.